But don't tell me that this is a strong women thing and then bring in a hot man to fix everything. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not cool. It is not cool. Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a book review for a book that I didn't know existed, but became very, very highly anticipated when I saw it and heard about it. And it seems like a lot of people were really anticipating this book. And so I got really hype about it, and maybe that's a problem because I didn't like it. We're just gonna say it right then. I didn't like it. Had some issues with it, but the book is Killers of a Certain Age. This book is one of those books that I really, really wanted to like. It seems like it's right up my alley. Well, I think I said it in my September TBR. I was like, either I'm gonna love this book because it seems like it's cozy mystery assassin thing going on, or I'm gonna really not like it. And unfortunately, we're in the really not like it camp. It had some moments, that's the worst part. Okay, this is going to have spoilers. Very small spoiler section because there's not really that many spoilers in this book. But there will be a small spoiler section at the end for literally one specific reason, because it's one of the things I had the biggest issue with. If you don't know, Killers of a Certain Age are following 4 women who used to be assassins, and they're just, I don't even think they're really newly retired. I think they're still active, but they're basically retired. Pretty much all of them just hit 60, and they have just been given an all-expenses paid vacation together. They're having a great time, blah, 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 having fun, reminiscing. And then suddenly they recognize someone on their vacation who belongs to their assassin group, and they're undercover. So they're like, someone's coming after us. So this book follows the women basically hiding, trying to figure out what's going on, why they're being targeted, etc. So that's pretty much the highlights of the book. It is, I would classify this as like cozy fiction, because I guess it is a mystery, but it's not like a murder mystery. So I don't know if you'd call it still a mystery. So cozy fiction is what I'm gonna go with. Is that even a genre? It is now. So anyway, I gave this book a 2.5 with a caveat. So the caveat is, if this becomes a series, this book becomes a 3. I did not like how the book ended. I did not like the random character thrown in at the end and not really fully explored. I felt like it was very lazy, so that's why it's getting a 2.5. But if there is a second book at least, it will get a 3, because that explains why the ending seemed very lazy. So let's start off positive. What did I like about this book? Loved how it began. Absolutely loved how it began, but that also set it up for a lower star rating. It started off hilarious. I was cackling. It was so much fun. I loved the 4 women. It was great. It started with a flashback to 1979 when they were first agents. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed that flashback. Action-packed, kind of what we were expecting from something like this. It was such a fun beginning. My problem is it did not continue that way. It did not continue. First chapter was like, this is going to be a book that's going to tell or show you, not tell you. And it turned into a book all about being told they did stuff in the past, told what they're capable of. Not a lot of showing except for a few points in the book. So loved, loved, loved how it began. I loved the characters. Absolutely fantastic characters. Billy was a great, complicated character. Loved it. Loved how she was into her own thing. Very much women, feminist power. Jeez. So very much loved her character. Loved Mary Alice. Thought she was a very complicated character as well. She is so much fun and much more bubbly than the rest of them and unique. And I loved seeing like her life besides the assassins. Like, she chose a different route than the rest of the group. And then you had Natalie, who was totally different than the rest of them. Kind of obnoxious, but at the same time you loved her because she was horrible to everyone except the women. So it's like, gotta love the loyalty there. You gotta love the loyalty there. And then you had Helen, who was an unfortunate character, but you gotta have one of those sad characters in the group. And it was fun seeing the difference in her between the past and the current because of what has happened in her life. So all the women were so unique and had such different backstories that I really, really enjoyed learning about the characters. I loved 2 of the secondary characters. I thought they did a great job, especially one of Billy's friends. I loved her. She was so funny. She definitely kept the story a little bit funny throughout the book, but she's really the only thing that kept it funny throughout the rest of the book. And then the other character is not really a spoiler, but Mary Alice has a wife, and her wife, oh man, didn't know about her being an assassin. So her storyline is pretty entertaining with Mary Alice. Not as funny as it probably could have been. She could have probably done a little bit more with that, but we'll get into that later. And unfortunately, that is everything I liked about the book. I had way more issues with it than I did likes, unfortunately, because, oh man, I'm not happy about it. Okay, things that I did not like. Let's just start off easy. The setting. I was so disappointed in this book. It made it sound like you were gonna be on a vacation with them most of the trip. Like maybe they were trying to be assassinated by multiple people on their vacation. That's not what happened. I was expecting them to be on vacation like at least half of the book. At least half. Yeah, no. Like this much. That's it. That's it. And then for the rest of the book, they're traveling or hiding. And I did not like that. Or there were a lot of flashbacks. So I was not a fan of the setting in this book. And I feel like the setting also wasn't vivid enough. Like I wasn't picturing it as the book was going on. That might just be a me problem. I think the whole book, me not liking the book, is a me problem. Because I had like a 4.2 on Goodreads. And I'm sitting there going, why? I don't get it. But apparently it's a me problem. So even if you watch this review, you probably should still read it because you're probably gonna like it. But like I said, had an issue with the setting. I didn't like how much it jumped around. I didn't like that I really couldn't picture the setting, and they jumped around too much that you never got like comfortable in one setting. And sometimes that works for books, but that works better for unsettling books and not for cozy type books, how it's written. Because this is written like a cozy something, cozy fiction. It just didn't feel like one as much as I wanted. Another thing that I really didn't love was the flashbacks. The first flashback was so good. It was so good, action-packed. I learned a lot about the women in the first flashback through their interactions with other people, and it was definitely a show not tell kind of situation. And then the rest of the flashbacks were so muted compared to that first one. So like, for example, one of the flashbacks, they're going to assassinate somebody, and for like over half the chapter, it's them talking and sitting around planning, getting prepped for it, and then only like 2 pages of it was the actual like assassination. But it was boring, like you never saw anything really happen. So it was just kind of like, this is not what the first flashback promised. Or it's a lot of just they had a lot of like flashbacks for training, and then there was one really weird flashback. We'll get to that in spoilers though. There was one that happened like halfway through the book, and then the character was never brought up again until the end of the book. And it's the character I have the most problem with, and my biggest problem with this book is that character and that storyline with that character. But we're gonna get to that in spoilers because it is kind of a spoiler. Like you don't know about it until halfway through the book. Another one of the things I really disliked was how easy everything seemed. Everything seemed so easy. Like they decide on a path on how to solve the issue of them being like targeted, and it was so easy for them. Like everything went their way. Even when stuff went wrong, it was easy to get away from the problem. And it's like, dude, these people are also in your organization. Are you telling me the people in your organization are just terrible at their jobs? Like, is that what you're telling me? They shouldn't be this bad at their jobs. I don't know. Like, are you just telling me everyone else is incompetent is what I'm getting at? It drives me nuts. That drives me nuts in most books. when things are too convenient, too easy, and are just solved like that. And that's pretty much what happened in this book. Didn't love that. And lastly, we're going to talk about the lack of comedy. So this, to me, even the synopsis promises comedy. And it delivered in the first couple chapters. And then it's just like, and then there was like a really funny part in the middle, but it almost seemed out of place because of how serious the book got. And I was just like, there could have been more. This could have been done really, really well with the comedy. And I just feel like she, like, originally was like, this is gonna be really funny, blah, blah, blah. And then she got into, like, the meat of the book and was like, I don't really want it to be a comedy anymore. I want it to be much more serious and about their lives and stuff like that. Which is fine, but when you set up the expectation for something to be really funny, I'm gonna be disappointed if I'm not, like, at least laughing every other chapter, every couple of chapters. And that's just not what happened with this. I was not entertained. It was much more serious read than I thought it should have been. That's pretty much all that I can talk about without getting into like some spoilers. So people that I think should read this book, again, I don't know because I didn't like it. It's really hard to recommend something that you don't like. But a lot of people did like this. So I think if you read the synopsis and you think you're gonna like it, I think you should go ahead and try it, because I could be a one-off. It could just be something that just bothered me and didn't bother other people and won't bother you. So my opinion is, if you think you're gonna like it, I think you should go ahead and try it. Or you think you even might remotely like it, or if you like cozy reads, because it is a quick read, I would just go ahead and try it. That's my 2 cents about that. Okay, getting into spoilers. So if you haven't read it and you want to read it, or you don't want to know the spoilers, click away now. Make sure to subscribe, like the video. We'll be coming out with more content, blah, 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 the usual stuff. Anyway, let's get into spoilers. So obviously you find out that their organization is the ones that have put a hit out on them. They call a friend to get information about what's going on, and it turns out that it skipped usual channels and someone created a dossier on them and is basically planning evidence that they have gone rogue and are murdering people for money. That's the whole reason that they're getting targeted. That makes sense. That's a pretty good like plot line. Like, okay, they're getting set up. They need to figure out who's setting them up, etc. So they have a couple contacts that they call. They get more information about what's going on, and that whole part takes up like half the book of them just sitting around trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm like, dang, this is taking forever. So when they finally figure out what's going on, they decide to pull a big move, and they're gonna go straight to the top. They're gonna go kill the three members of the board. So they have like a top board that everyone falls underneath, and they're gonna go kill all 3 members. And I'm like, that seems kind of rash. Like, what if one of them wants to help you? But I don't know. It just seemed very like here to here. They have no information other than someone has set them up and the board agreed to have them terminated, and that they're egotistical men, so they're unlikely to rescind the order. But I'm sitting there going, this seems so rash, but whatever. We're gonna pass that. I got past that. Moving on. The only action sequences left in this book are when they actually go kill the people, members of the board, which is 2 people, and they're very quick. I actually really I thought the book was getting better when they killed the first dude, but then again, it sunk back into them just talking and the boring chapters from the past, and so I just kind of like lost interest. And then the second kill was anticlimactic as well, so I just am like, eh. So I don't know. And then the second one went wrong, but they still were able to get away. Nothing happened. And then the ending had some action in it as well. And the ending was okay. Moving on. I'm trying to go in like order of what happened in the book. So my biggest gripe is with the introduction of, I don't even remember his name, Travers, something like that. Begins with a T. You find out that Billy had a fling with another agent in like the past in her life, and the necklace that she wears around her neck is from him, and you find out like they like were instant love at first sight kind of thing, and I'm like, this kind of hurts Billy's character. Like, Billy's character was headstrong, my job, my life, this, I really liked that. I liked that aspect of her. And then when they bring in this random dude for one chapter, halfway through the book, to say, oh, she was madly in love with him, is like, did we really need this? Did we really need this? No, we really didn't. And then, of course, he's brought up one time and then shows up at the end of the book to help save them. Basically shows up white knight on a horse, and I was like, are you kidding me? Probably what pissed me off most about that was the fact that this was supposed to be like, women killers handle shit themselves, doesn't matter what age they are, they got this. And you call a man to come help clean up your mess. If there had been some side characters, like if Mary Alice had a husband instead who had been helping, okay, that already added a man in, wouldn't be as big of a deal for that guy to show up at the end. Or if Billy's friend was a man, again, another man already in the picture, if another man showed up, whatever. But it's a whole group of women. Mary Alice is married to a woman. Minka is a woman from Ukraine and is Billy's friend. So it's this awesome, badass group of 6 women who are trying to solve issues. And they call a man to come help them at the end. And I'm just... that made me so mad. So mad, because it was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. These women had it handled. And then at the very end, at the very, very end, you have the woman who's part of the board who was good, is a woman. So she shows up, pregnant too, badass, shows up and is like, all right, I'm gonna get this fixed, stay low for a little while, but we're gonna expunge everything, we're gonna call off the order, blah, blah, blah. So another woman. So why are you bringing in this random male love interest in to save the day? He really didn't do that much, but he did enough that just by existing at the end of this book when like all the shit was going down, that pissed me off. And normally I'm like, whatever. That stuff doesn't bother me. But when you are harping on the fact that these women can do everything, they're the sphinxes, they're awesome, they're trained by a woman as well, and they were like, their group was based off of another all-female assassin group called the, oh shoot, I don't remember, the Harpies? I don't remember. Called something. And you bring in a man at the end! I don't have anything against men. I'm married to one. But don't tell me that this is a strong women thing and then bring in a hot man to fix everything. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not cool. It is not cool. And, oh man, this pissed me off. Pissed me off. That was my biggest gripe with this book. I felt so jaded by the end of this book, how mad I was about that. I feel like no one else apparently had a problem with this except for me, so maybe, I don't know. It just really pissed me off. So moving on. The ending was fine. I was just like kind of so mad at this point that I didn't really care what happened at the end. I was glad Billy was a badass the entire time. She like handled things. I still don't like that her little boyfriend interfered. I don't think he should have been there, but it was a good ending, and then he disappears. That was another issue I had. If you're gonna bring in a romance and you're gonna have him kind of help save the day, at least like have them kiss at the end. Like, they're long lost loves. His wife is now dead, deceased. His children are grown. He has a vacation house. At least give them like a happily ever after if you're gonna throw him in there. Instead, she's like, they're asking everyone what they're gonna go do. So Mary Alice and her wife Akiko are gonna go back home once the all clear is given. I don't remember what Natalie's gonna do. Probably something with Cabana Men and Beach Boys. I don't know. That seems like her style. Helen is gonna stay and fix up the house in England that she had bought with her husband, who is dead. And Billy thinks of Greece. She doesn't want to go to Greece, and she thinks of the man and that they're gonna go to Greece together. But that's it. That's how the book ends. And I'm like, okay, if you're gonna put him in here as a knight in shining armor, whatever it's called, I'm so mad. At least give me a little smooch at the end, a little kiss, or even a hug. I'll take a hug and I missed you so much and we should get back to you. Something. So that's why I gave it 2.5. And I said it'll be a 3 if there's a second book, because at least it'll like continue into something and it'll feel like there's more closure, because it didn't feel like there was any closure, because they still weren't released to go home. They still had to be in hiding. The dude just disappeared like into thin air. Don't know where he went. So I needed more closure at the end of this book, and it just made me mad. So that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about the book. Those are the parts that like stuck out to me, and the rest was just a blur. The rest was a blur, unfortunately. So 2.5 stars. Angry. Made me angrier than I thought it would. So that is my review for Killers of a Certain Age. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, maybe, and let me know down below what you thought about the book. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments why you liked it. Did I just like see this wrong? That he was just there for like, it did seem he was more there for backup, but I still didn't like that he showed up. Like he was gonna fix all their problems. Still didn't like that. But let me know what you thought about that ending. That's about it. Maybe what you, like I said, why you liked it. If you didn't like it, did you agree with why I didn't like it, or did you not like it for a different reason? So that's all I got for you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.